Sometimes, when you're developing a highly anticipated sequel to a video game under a strict 13-month deadline due to your corporate overlords' need for a launch title to accompany their new game console, you make a few oopsies. And more deliberately, sometimes you just say, yeah, that's good enough, ship it. And then you say it again, and again, and again. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers, but there was definitely some good enough talk among the developers of a certain studio, a studio whose employees misspell their company's name on their copyrighted textures, when making a few moves. One such move was Roy's dash attack. Like most of his other moves, the animation and frame data for Roy's dash attack was taken straight from Marth's, then slowed down and given a few different properties. Most important among the differences is that Roy's dash attack was made to be 8 frames slower than Marth's, which isn't inherently a bad thing. In fact, if Hal had made these hitboxes last for the same part of the animation for both, Roy's would actually be active for a few more frames than Marth's, which could have its benefits. Unfortunately though, that's not what they did. Instead, Hal increased the length of Roy's animation but kept the active frames of the move exactly the same as Marth's, frames 12 through 15. While this makes sense for Marth's animation, with Roy's slower version, these active frames make what's supposed to be a graceful sword swipe a kind of weird shoulder tackle or something. And then, right as Roy fully extends his blade, the active frames disappear. And they just never bothered to fix it. From the development period all the way to the 4th official release of the game, PAL. Luckily, with the use of a program called Crazy Hand, I was able to put my awesome hacking skills to use and add a few more active frames to it. And well, Roy's not missing out on much. Here's another broken move in Melee, but this time its brokenness is actually a good thing. Link's neutral air. Now, I already talked a bit about it in one of my other videos, but I didn't really go very in depth, so here it is. In Melee, every move in the game has a flag placed somewhere in its animation to tell the game to turn off its hitboxes. Roy's dash attack, for example, has the flag placed way too early. But this move, Link's neutral air, is the only move in the entire game that has no flag at all. Which means the hitboxes last from frame 4 all the way to the last frame of its animation. This unique property of Link's neutral air allows him to do things like quick double nair combos and can lead to janky edgeguards like this. Fixing this one is simple. Judging by Crazy Hand, it seems the developers messed up and instead of a timer attached to a function that tells the game to get rid of hitboxes, they just put 2 timers. So we just replaced this second timer with terminate collisions and there it is. Link's neutral air, the way it was originally intended to be. But I don't know, I kinda like the janky one. It's so fucked up and stupid that it's actually kinda cool, while also not being overpowered or game-breaking. This is Luigi's dash attack, and like Link's neutral air, I've actually already talked a bit about this one in another video, and mentioned how it's missing its final hitbox. What I didn't mention, however, is that his dash attack is also missing its final hitbox in Smash 64, and by changing a single byte of data in that game, you can restore his dash attack to what it was supposed to be. Now, it's not entirely certain if the developers of Melee thought this move was just supposed to be like this, or if they just made a similar mistake. But I fixed it anyway, and gave it its final hitbox. In keeping with the spirit of its wimpiness in the base game, I kept it pretty weak. But I did give it a bit more knockback than the first 5 hits, and this alone makes it a substantially better move. Here's a side-by-side comparison. And for my final fix, I'll be increasing the size of Mr. Game & Watch's shield. Sick.